welcome. Let's chat about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear them. We're doing a 1 a.m. stream. So jump in the chat, say hello. Tomorrow, the stream might be different. I don't know for sure because I'm going to be traveling at some point or another, traveling to Amherstburg for a really special event. And as a consequence of that, I may not be able to stream at my normal 1 p.m. time. However, as soon as I know when I'll be streaming, or I should say, as soon as I have information, I have confirmation of what I'll be doing, I'll be posting it on social media. The best thing you can do is turn on your alerts. That way, when I'm streaming, as soon as I'm streaming, you guys will get the alert, you'll be notified, and you can tune in and join me. Or just mark on your calendar that I'm streaming, make a note that I've been streaming, and that way you can find the stream later. Leave a comment, leave a like, all that good jazz. I'm going to be doing something kind of fun this stream. The reason I'll be traveling tomorrow is because we have Masters Night in Thistle. And what they're doing for Masters Night is every master within the district is going to be presenting for 10 minutes about their Masonic journey and then talking about Border City, or their particular lodge. I'm Worship Master of Border City's Lodge. So I need to have a presentation about my Masonic journey, and then I need to have a presentation about my lodge and the history of my lodge. The presentation about the history of my lodge is already set, but for my personal history, I decided I'd make it kind of a fun game. I have been lucky enough to travel around the world, literally around the world, for Freemasonry. So what I'm going to be doing, and during those travels, I have collected several coins, tokens, pins, pens, tarot cards, and dozens of other items. I'm going to bring a bag with me. That bag is going to be filled with all of the Masonic coins and tokens I've collected. This is from Shiitake Apparel. I'm going to have brethren pick a random coin or token or item from the bag, and then I'm going to give a brief 2-minute discussion on it, and I'm going to show let everybody see the item, touch it, feel it, make a note of it. That way, there's something tactile, they can feel it, which has been shown to help with educational purposes, and it's just a cool little thing, and it makes it more interesting. The other question is, I may not know what the story behind every item is, which I think makes it even more fun, because this way, since I don't know what necessarily every item is, some I may have to say, I don't know what this is, I don't remember, which is a good object lesson in the importance of maintaining a Masonic journal, but also within that journal, recording items you receive on your travels. Because one of the worst things that can happen is you get a beautiful coin while traveling and you forget where it came from. So I think it could be kind of fun. So they don't get to keep them, but at least get to touch them and see them and look at them, and maybe it'll encourage other guys to travel and also not make the mistake I make, actually keep their Masonic items recorded specifically. Hello, John Paul. By the way, $2 and I will read out your super chat. Once again, not me personally, but my text to voice app. So for just $2, your super chat will be read. Please consider doing a $2 super chat. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and thank you for being here. Well, John Paul, in the words of one of my favorite wrestlers, what do you want to talk about? And for the time being, we're just going to hang out, wait to see who joins. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear it. What is Masonry? That's a very straight to the point question, John Paul. There's two answers to that question. There's stone masonry or operative masonry. That is the shaping and building with stone for human use. It could be anything from creating stone structures, to live in, to worship in, to study in, um, to store things in, through to the building of stone walls, through to the creation of stone items, stone artifacts. Freemasonry or speculative masonry, which is what I'm a part of, has existed for approximately 300 to 350 years, give or take. And it is a civic institution or civic organization, mostly thought of as a fraternity, but there is women's side as well. And the purpose of it is there's no specific purpose beyond people desiring to gather with each other, but it takes symbolism, lessons, and ideas from stone masonry and applies them to the individual on an ethical or moral level, if you prefer that way. Bee Butt Farms, that's a name. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. Keep in mind, Freemasonry is in many different religions and faiths. Um, there are many Christian Freemasons and many who are of different faiths as well. But I appreciate that. Baya Ava, hello. Thank you for being here. I hope you'll take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button as well. No, Joshua, I appreciate. I mean, hey, you can be here when you can be here, right? The the purpose. You come when you come. If you can't make it, you can't make it. But what I hope that you will do, Joshua, is turn on a notification bell. That way, whenever I am streaming, you'll find me, and you can at least tune into the streams later. I do have a very Canadian nose. That is true. I hope that if you are new to the stream, hit the like and subscribe button. And please take a moment to consider, if you will, a $2 super chat to hear your super chat read out by my text to voice app. If you can't, don't worry about it. I mean, I think that's Smokey the Clown on the chat as well. Welcome, Smokey, if that's you with the hearts. I'm sure you're still working hard, but thank you for being here. I'm selling my channel. I mean, I'm trying to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. So by definition, you're selling something, right? If not a good or a service, then at the very least, the desire of people to see your content. If anything, I suppose I'm selling content. Nice. I mean, these 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any specific topics, but I was going to do a test run for tomorrow. I've got this bag. It's filled with a whole bunch of different Masonic items I've collected over the years. I'm going to pick 5 randomly and talk about them in preparation for tomorrow, because I'm going to do that same thing at a presentation I have to do. It's tomorrow. It is tomorrow. That is true. And you say that with a very New York accent. But nonetheless, it's also still today. I don't know what time it is. It's 1 in the morning. I will say these 1 a.m. streams get the timing very confusing, because I'll say I'm doing something tomorrow when I really mean I'm doing it today. I don't know who the snake diet guy is, but is he handsome? I'm here chatting about Freemasonry. If you want to jump in and ask any questions, by all means. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. I would love to travel back to South America because it's so beautiful and the lodges are so beautiful. I always miss traveling to Chicago because I love it so much. Um, I do like candy bars, but none tonight. Don't worry, I'll get one tomorrow. Insert anger. Let's not have any anger, but welcome. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment to hit that like button and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry and consider that super chat as well. That'd be a good question. What's your favorite candy bar? That'd be fun to ask people. Well, there you go. But still, thank you for being here as always. I hope you're doing well. And we're just going to hang out. Once I hit to the half hour mark, I'm going to do this test run to see how it goes with my, random items for my Masonic career. So we'll see what we pick. I would agree. I think Butterfinger is underrated. I also think Score is underrated quite a bit. So, yeah, I remember the name, Insert Anger. Hello, Ilav. It's good to have you back. Score chocolate bars. Those are really good. Also, I like Coffee Crisp a lot, but that's a Canadian chocolate. I don't think you guys get it that much in the States. Which I don't get me wrong, I love the States, but you guys are missing on a good coffee. Or sorry, good coffee crisp. Thank you. This is a very comfortable sweatshirt celebrating widow's sons. What part of Canada? I'm from Windsor, Ontario. Don't forget, $2 super chat. Get your chat read out by text to speech. And let me know any thoughts you have on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear it. I already had dinner. It was stuffed peppers. They were really good. I've never been to New Brunswick. I'd love to visit. I've been to Nova Scotia. That's the closest I've ever got, but it would be incredible. Um, Catholicism, no, nobody should become independent. The French aren't independent. Canada's stronger when everybody's together. That includes Catholic Canadians and Protestant Canadians and the French Canadians and the English Canadians and Indigenous and immigrants and everything in between. Saint Honito, Trailer Park Boys, a great Canadian, a classic Canadian show. We'll insert anger. I don't know if that works for you, but if you get people tuning in, that's important. I don't know your channel well, so this isn't an endorsement, but I would suggest everybody go check out Insert Anger's channel. And if you enjoy it, if you find it good stuff, then subscribe to it. Well, they've talked about it for years. It never happened. I don't think it ever will. It's always been discussed, though. It just takes time. Insert anger. It just takes time. If you care about something and you enjoy it, just keep doing it. And over time, I mean, I don't know if nobody knows what the future holds, but nobody is successful overnight and nobody gets people tuning in overnight. That's for sure. Well, they've tried voting on it twice and independents failed both times. So I was never a huge fan of either of those shows. I've never been a big fan of comedies on TV as a general rule. The exceptions most recently would be New Girl. I found that's really good, but that is true. It's unfortunate that many Catholics do face prejudices, but unfortunately, many different religious groups can face prejudice. It's our job, I think, within Freemasonry, or my job, to demonstrate universal tolerance and acceptance. Um, Josh, just keep me up to date. I'd love to know when the first video, sorry, when the first album comes out. And congratulations, that must be really exciting. Thank you. Celebrating Widows' Sons, a wonderful organization of within Freemasonry. Well, we're not standing against anybody. How's about that? How about we'll just say we want everybody to be treated well and treated with respect and not face prejudices, whether they are Catholic, Protestant, or anything else. I don't know the Waits experience. That's a question. I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I don't see myself ever leaving Freemasonry, but I suppose anything is possible. But put it this way, I would leave Freemasonry if things got to a point where I felt that Freemasonry is no longer capable of making the world a better place. Oh, I'm sure, Josh, like developing an album, I'm sure there's a ton of work that needs to go into editing and tweaking things, as you put it. I can only imagine how challenging and difficult it must be. So good for you. You should be proud of the work you put in. No, Quebec doesn't need to be free. Quebec has tied two elections, two referendums. They're still part of Canada. Free Big Macs. I would take a free Big Mac if they offered it. I mean, I appreciate that, Josh, but keep in mind you're already big, right? By big, I mean you're already important, you already matter. You don't want to be reliant on this idea of getting famous to feel important or feel big. You're important just as you are. A lot of people chase fame and chase success, and they find out they're not happy when they get it. So just chase being happy and being good to the people around you, and the rest kind of is the rest. Hello, Johnny Rockwell. Welcome back. Thank you for being here again. We have a new thing now. If you do a super chat of $2 or above, you'll hear your super chat through text to speech. So that's really cool. But thank you for joining once again. I hope that you are doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button and that subscribe button. To Gar, hello. I hope you're doing well. I had a cold and it sucked. It was a pain in the butt. The last 3 days, I've had this miserable cold. Thankfully, I'm finally feeling better. Now I just have the cough left. Whenever I get sick and get a cold, I always end up getting this cough that like I can't get rid of, which is very annoying, by the way. Just be careful. Do not drive. Call for a taxi. Get an Uber, and don't put your health at risk. Beyond that, I mean, you do you. I appreciate that, Joshua. I remember the name Drumple. Well, welcome back, Tugar. Shout out from New Jersey. New Jersey's awesome. I've got some coins from New Jersey. We got 11 minutes. Then I'm going to maybe start talking about my collection of cool stuff. I mean, Jeremy, what I would say is I can't tell anybody what to do, but if you're thinking about quitting drinking, then it might be that there is a reason for it. There might be a problem that you're struggling with. And if that's the case, then it might be worth talking to somebody about it and talking about why you're having those considerations. Is it affecting your health? Is it affecting your well-being? Is it affecting your finances? Then get yourself to bed. But I still appreciate you being here. Whether you're here for an hour or a minute or anywhere in between, I'm grateful. Johnny Rockwell, you as well. I mean, I don't think drunkenness is degenerate. I think if you're drunk too often, it's degenerate. I think you need to be really careful and pay attention to what is happening around you, and you know, how much money are you spending on drinking? How much time are you spending at the bar? Are you hiding alcohol from your friends, from your family? Are you experiencing health problems? All of those things are worth asking the question, should you continue drinking? Should you talk to somebody? Should you slow down? Morning Minotaur. It's morning for me too. It's 1:24 a.m. That's not how it works, Catholicism. That's a silly argument. I mean, whether you're 30% or 50%, you don't get to define independence based on the percentages. And also, it's not 30% in one specific location. There are Catholics throughout Canada. Um, I mean, I don't know if you can I don't mean I couldn't define degenerate off the top of my head other than colloquially, right? I don't know the dictionary definition. I would just describe somebody who engages a degenerate or something that is degenerative as something that creates or is degenerative in act, otherwise is destructive or harmful either to an individual or society. So in some ways, you could argue because it's got negative health consequences, to be drunk is degenerate in that it's going to be degenerative to your liver, degenerative to your, brain cells, degenerative to a lot of your health and well-being. But I think too often we take the term degenerate and apply that in a moral context, which I don't think is fair. Um, 7:24 a.m. Well, you enjoy going to Germany, and thank you again for being here. My cat's name is Bandit. Mittens is a great name for a cat. A lot of people call their cat Mittens, so you're not alone in that. So again, it's degenerative in gambling sense because it's degenerative on your finances, as well as on your health, as well as probably on your family. So that's where the degenerativeness of the gambling comes in. I mean, I think of degenerate as relates to degenerative. That would be degenerative. But again, you couldn't say your dog is degenerate because degenerate implies like a moral judgment. Your dog is just acting on instinct. That's certainly one way to do it. Catholicism is cool. I don't know if it's the exclusive way, but a lot of people find a great deal of comfort and happiness within the Catholic faith, without a doubt. I'm not sure if I'd say only way or exclusive way. I would say that can be one way for many people to find peace and comfort in life. What I'd also say, though, is please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe button and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. I mean, I would say, Tugo, your faith journey is yours to take. I'm hoping that you stop being a Christian based on maybe you found another faith that speaks to you more or like a deep and moral conviction. If it was done in rashness or in anger, I would say as a general rule, it might be best to avoid leaving the faith until you've slept on it or thought about it a little bit. As a general rule, that seems to be, for any major decision, whether it be about faith or anything else, that seems to be usually a pretty good idea. Rainy, for many people, he is. We're just going to keep hanging out, wait to see anyone else wants to join. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know how you're doing. Hello, 14 words. Still not a fan of your name, that's for sure. Okay, I mean, again, it's not a type of thing you have to decide overnight, but if you're struggling and you're feeling like the faith isn't right for you, then so be it. It's your faith journey. No one can tell you, whether your faith journey is right or wrong. But I would say is if you're doing something out of anger, just sleep on it, right? major decisions like that, you should be slept on and not decided overnight. Um, because again, to my knowledge, you don't necessarily, I shouldn't be saying too much because I'm not a theologian, but I'd say as a general rule, it's not the type of thing where you can just not attend church for a while and just think about your faith journey without saying that you've left the faith. Welcome. I hope everybody's doing well. Please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. Jeremy, what was your weird dream? Well, then I wish you the best of luck in your efforts to grow closer to God. No, they were not. Lenin was not. Stalin was not. And Trotsky were not. In fact, Freemasonry was banned in Soviet-era Russia. So Soviet-era Russia, there was no Freemasonry. And so I think Trotsky may have been before the Soviet and the Bolshevik Revolution took place. So maybe Trotsky was a Freemason. It wouldn't shock me. I'd need to know more about Trotsky and his timing. But Lenin and Stalin definitely were not. Jeremy, I mean, I guess I will think you're crazy if you are taking the dream as a sign from the gods or something like that. That would definitely be a sign that you're crazy. But if you just think it's a dream that's interesting, that's something else, right? But don't rely upon that dream to give you some type of, play the lottery or something, like, the lottery numbers. That's very dangerous. Well, I wouldn't go that far and say that, Tuger, but I would say Catholicism, if he's struggling with his priests, then maybe he gets to struggle with the priest he's spoken to, right? We weren't there. We don't know what he's been going through with the church. So we want to be careful about making judgments like that. Really careful. Well, honestly, this stream hasn't been that Masonic because I haven't got any Masonic questions except for the very first two. What is your question about Freemasonry? Almost certainly not. Hold on, I need to get some cough medicine in me to deal with this cough. I'll be back in just one moment. No, I have this cold that I cannot get rid of, which is a pain in the butt, believe me. Whenever I get sick, I get this dry cough, and this dry cough leads me to just, it's a pain in the butt because this dry cough does not ever go away. Many do. Many do. I've had many Masons on this stream. It just depends on the numbers. And sometimes they will watch but not comment. And very often they'll watch after the fact as well. So they're here. I mean, some people talk about them being Freemasons on the stream as well. Some people don't. Like Michael Moore is here very often. He's a Mason out of Michigan. I got some Dayquil, so hopefully that'll work. Oh, I think I missed the. So I had this light come to me. It was golden blue light, and a voice said, "Travel it." I got closer to it, then I got sucked up into this weird portal-like thing, and it took me into someone's house. I mean, dreams can sometimes seem very, very real, right? But they're not. And the danger comes when you start to think that they're trying to give you some type of hidden knowledge. That's the danger. As long as you recognize and understand that it's not real, it might be your subconscious trying to send you a message about something like, I don't know, maybe you're looking at new houses or something, but it's not supernatural. That's where you need to always remember. Dreams aren't real in the sense that they're not providing you with some sort of hidden knowledge about the universe or messages from the gods, right? Or something like that. Just because you dream you won the lottery, that doesn't mean you should buy a lottery ticket, for example. And if you want to try that, you dream that you won the lottery and then you decide, okay, now I'm going to therefore buy a lottery ticket. Don't be disappointed if you don't win the lottery. I think it's quite the story. We're going to see what happens. Keep in mind that lodge in France was not a recognized Masonic lodge, meaning I could not have visited them. I would not be able to visit them and check out their Masonic lodge meetings, nor could they visit mine. But having said that, of course, it's still the case that they call themselves Masons, they use Masonic symbolism, which means, unfortunately, if it came to the point that they are found guilty, it's going to be really harmful to Freemasonry as a whole because people will associate them and their criminal activities with Freemasonry, even though they shouldn't, because again, we are separate entities, separate organizations. They're a clandestine lodge. They're not legitimate. They're not legitimate Freemasons. I think you're talking about the same one I am, the one in France. Again, it's not a recognized Masonic lodge, meaning I cannot, I cannot visit their Masonic lodge, nor could they visit mine. They'd be considered not recognized. But having said that, they still use the Masonic terms, Masonic symbolism, which means, unfortunately, if it comes to a point where they're found guilty and they are guilty of these crimes, even before just the trial itself, it reflects poorly upon all of Freemasonry, which sucks. And that's why it's so important that people understand that Freemasonry is decentralized. There is no single governing body or single definition of what is a Freemason. And that's important to know because if people think there's a single governing body and a single definition of what it means to be a Freemason, that means the bad actions of one are easier and can be reflected upon the whole, which isn't fair to Freemasonry. It does, Jeremy. It does. That's also why it's so important that people understand things like recognition, right? When I say that lodge isn't recognized, what it means is we in Ontario do not consider them to be legitimate Masons. They could not have visited me in my lodge, nor could I have visited them in their lodge for a meeting. Um, and that's a way to separate ourselves from illegitimate or people using Freemasonry for the wrong reason. And keep us out of risk as much as possible, or just keep us out of negative connotations. I don't know what the hidden hand is, but I've never heard of that within Freemasonry. And no, Freemasons are not involved in gang stalking. I don't know who Mary is. Oh, learn how AI creates. Oh, I see. Saint Jonito Mary Lmaoo. I don't know if you're talking about Mary, Mother of Jesus. I mean, it is Easter time. I don't think they did. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what there's going to be a finding of guilt or innocence. I have no idea what's going to happen. But whether you claim to be a Mason or are a Mason, it should never be used as a way to avoid consequences for criminal activities. Um, Nor should people think it's possible to claim Masonry and avoid responsibility for criminal activities. Um, so if they're guilty, I hope they end up serving a jail sentence that's appropriate to whatever crimes they're found guilty of. Oh, that's not a Masonic symbol. It's just baloney. Well, it would be called clandestine Freemasonry. or irregular Freemasonry would be the two terms. Clandestine would be the more correct term, what they're doing. It would be no different than if I started my own Masonic lodge, called it Cameron's Masonic Lodge, set up a bunch of signs and stuff. They would be considered clandestine because they don't have permission. I'm not officially associated with any Masonic lodge or body. It'd be considered clandestine. So they didn't do that, 14 words. This is why you need to be really careful about the things you read. I don't know how many Freemasons are police officers in the UK. I have no clue what that number is. But the Metropolitan Police, which is the largest police force in the United Kingdom, and it's out of London, England, set up a rule that stated if you're a Freemason, you need to disclose. If you're a Freemason and a police officer, you need to disclose that you're a Freemason to your superior officers, who will keep that information to use if it's necessary for anything related to conflicts of interest, which I personally have zero issue or concern with. There are Freemasons who are police officers. There's also Freemasons who are plumbers, and everything in between. We're not going to call anybody a numbskull, although with the name 14 words, I do question his intelligence. But I get to do that. You don't. There are homeless Freemasons, sure. It's unfortunate. Hopefully, if I were to ever discover this homeless Freemason, his lodge would step in and help him by, for example, providing benevolence. I've actually known many Freemasons who have been protected from homelessness by the lodge stepping in with benevolence. However, you need to keep in mind that not every lodge has the ability to do that. Not every Mason may be comfortable asking for support. And so, yeah, some Masons have ended up homeless over the years. Hello, Mark David. Thank you for being here. Greetings, Earthlings. Are you on the Artemis too? Okay, the thing I wanted to do for this stream is do a test run of my plan for tomorrow. I am going to... they shouldn't be. They'll be part of their own rituals, right? So they may develop and create their own rituals that they'll perform in their lodges, and they'll call them Masonic. But the difference is I cannot partake in those rituals or visit their lodges because they would be considered illegitimate Masons, right? It's no different than if somebody says they want to create their own football league, and they're going to call it John's Football League, and they're going to create their own rules. They're going to have 5 downs, and you have to get 15 yards, and they start playing it. Like, they can play it if they want. They can do whatever they want, but the National Football League is not going to recognize it as a legitimate league, and none of their players are going to have games against those teams, right? So they can do whatever they want, but a clandestine lodge would not... or a legitimate lodge, a regular lodge is the term, would not recognize those rituals as legitimate and would not partake in them. Well, of course we live in outer space. I mean, we're floating on a giant rock that's traveling through space. No, in fact, the Nazis hated Freemasonry. The Nazis banned Freemasonry and placed many Freemasons in concentration camps. So I think one of those things of judge us by your enemies, the fact that Freemasons had enemies of the Nazis, I think demonstrates that in fact we were pretty, we're on the right side of history. Because I would suggest the Nazis are definitely not. No, that's not the same thing as all Catholicism, and you know that. You need to be careful. We're not going to be revilers of anybody's religion. Now, the Catholic Church may say Protestants are clandestine. The Protestants may say the Catholic Church is clandestine, I suppose. But that's not the Masonic position, right? And the point is, I don't think they would say that. I think they'd say they're different religious faiths, different religious beliefs. But religion is not the same thing as Freemasonry. They occupy different spaces. Well, Freemasons for sure had a hand in the French Revolution at an individual basis, in the same way Freemasons had a hand in the American Revolution. George Washington was a Freemason. But it wasn't Freemasonry doing it. It was individual Freemasons who had political beliefs and acted upon them. That's no different than saying, do you think Freemasons, um, I don't know, like if a plumber comes to your house and fixes your pipes and he's also a Freemason, in that moment, he's not acting as a Freemason, he's acting as a plumber. George Washington, when he was leading the revolution, was not acting as a Freemason. He was acting as a politician, as a statesman. Now, maybe Freemasonry encouraged or gave him certain views that encouraged his decisions, valuing democracy, for example. But there are many Freemasons who were in Britain and who were on the other side of that kind of argument. In fact, there's some evidence that George III was himself a Freemason, although it's questionable whether he was or not. It's debated. Um, so Black people can become Freemasons, and many of them do. There's also Prince Hall Freemasonry. There's the Order of Women Freemasons, Eastern Star, and there's even Order of Rainbow for women Freemasons. So Nazis were prejudiced to a lot of different groups, including Catholicism, to my knowledge. Primarily, though, obviously the first kind of prejudice you think of with Nazis is obviously Jewish people, but then gypsies, homosexuals, Freemasons, Catholics. They were not known for their welcoming attitude to almost anybody. Even back in the day, they could. I mean, Prince Hall, for example, before he started Prince Hall Freemasonry, he was able to join a Masonic lodge through the Irish Grand Lodge and then through the English Grand Lodge. But many American lodges would absolutely and unfortunately deny membership to Black men due to the prejudices of the time, which is very, very unfortunate. Freemasons cannot communicate through telekinesis. Um, well, our Masonic rituals are meant to be private, but we can take the lessons and the ethics from those rituals and apply them to both ourselves and others. Ethics like charity, kindness, tolerance, forgiveness, all those things are valuable lessons. It's so different than being a football player. When you're a football player and you are done practicing, you've learned things like the value of practice, the value of physical fitness, a value of teamwork. You can then take those lessons outside of the practice to your day-to-day life. Well, there are many Freemasons who are cool, including me, but Mozart was a very cool Freemason, I'll grant you that. So let's see, 5 coins. Let's do that. Let's see what I got. Keep my eyes closed, turning things around. I love football, but I never played it. I have no legs, it would have been hard. Okay, first coin. Let's see if I can tell a story about this one. Oh, this is from, it would mean you snuck into the lodge, Jeremy, and that's not cool, but you can do what you want. This is a coin from Oriental Lodge number 33, AFNAM 1845, Chicago. I like this coin, actually. I love the design on it. It was from Oriental Lodge, which meets at the Jefferson Masonic Temple, which is a stone's throw from Jefferson Park or the Jefferson CTA station in Chicago, Illinois. It meets in an absolutely beautiful and gorgeous Masonic building. If I recall correctly, it was built in the 1910s to early 1920s, if I'm getting that date correct. This is actually one of the first Masonic lodges I ever visited in Chicago. I grew to love it, both the lodge and Chicago, and it's a pleasure whenever we get to go back to it. No, you cannot. People have tried it, they'll try to look through a window or whatever it is. Cowens and eavesdroppers. All right, next coin. Let's see what we got. Picking runs at random. Okay, this one. Do I know this story at all? Oh, 30th anniversary coin for Webb Masonic Lodge, number 1454. This is a Masonic lodge out of Texas, relatively close to actually the Fort Worth, Dallas airport. Um, I visited it in, it would have been 2022. Beautiful place. This was actually, when I got this coin, um, Canada was mostly still locked down due to COVID. And so our Grand Lodge was taking place virtually. It was the first year we had virtual voting. And I remember I attended the Grand Lodge in a Denny's off the highway um, on my phone while in Texas. So that was really cool. Hello from Wyoming. The Alamo wasn't a Masonic lodge, but the Alamo had a lot of Masons there on both sides of it. Coin number 3. See if I can find it. Mason cheese, which is a real cheese, 14 words. It's called that because it's vegetable ash running through it that looks like bricks. Okay. Oh, we've got a coin from the Grand Lodge of Ohio, Rubicon Lodge. I got this from a lodge in Ohio. This wasn't on my travels. This was actually when Rubicon visited Trinity Lodge, if I recall correctly, which is here in Windsor. Ohio to Rubicon or Ohio to Windsor is about 2.5 hours drive. They visited. I got this beautiful thing, beautiful coin. Well, then I guess I'm an assassin. All right, 2 more coins or 2 more items. Could be coins, could be other things. Oh, this is one of my favorites. Well, it'd be unlikely because you'd have, it's male exclusive lodges and female exclusive lodges, so the odds are not in your favor. But I've known male Freemasons who marry Order of Women Freemasons in Canada and in the United Kingdom. This is from Greenleaf Lodge in Colorado. That is Buzz Aldrin. This is particularly appropriate because the Artemis 2 space mission, working on returning people to the moon. Buzz Aldrin became a Freemason in Kansas, was raised to the 3rd degree in Colorado, but then lived in Texas and was a Mason there and actually brought with him a Masonic charter to the moon. But I got this coin when I was visiting Colorado. They have a beautiful Masonic building right downtown, and Greenleaf is one of the lodges I visited. First Freemason, not the last. I mean, anybody could fall in love with an AI program, Catholicism, but you'd hope they wouldn't. I think one of the biggest dangers is people anthropomorphizing AI. Well, I did not walk on the moon and I got the coin. I couldn't walk anywhere. I have no legs. Oh, this coin is a blank coin. It's given to worshipful masters, and they put in here the date they were initiated, past, raised, worshipful master, and past master, if I recall correctly. I don't remember where I got this one, but it's a cool little gift that you can give. A lot of people give them out to Masons. Let's see. One more, just for fun. Oh, this is a cool one. This is from North Hollywood Lodge. I got this when I visited the Grand Lodge of California's annual communication. And they had a whole bunch of Masons from across California and across the world present. So that was really, really cool as well. Well, that's what happens. I do not. I mean, that's a weird way to put it because I don't support anybody in any criminal activities. Any Masons who are committing criminal activities should be charged. And if the evidence is sufficient, they should be found guilty. and they should go to jail. And if I, as a Mason, find out that somebody was committing crimes who's a Mason, I should contact the police. Um, wood's a better wood's a better thing to put in there, so you're not assuming the worst. But no, I would inform the authorities. I would contact the police, as it should be. I mean, that's a political question, I guess. Stoning, I suppose you'd have to ask individual Masons, but I don't think I've ever met a single Mason who would support it. I personally don't support the death penalty, period, of any sort. I don't know what absolute justice means. I think in general, justice needs to be, you know, um, approached with a merciful heart, not stoning. No, if I mean the individual Mason who's committing the crime should go to jail, and every other Mason would support that activity. You're asking a lot of weird questions about like this isn't. You guys are just starting to be a little bit silly. If LSD is illegal, then no, Masons don't support it. I mean, not officially, but I'm sure some dogs and cats have snuck in. Although, in fact, I have known a few Masons who, for medical reasons, required guide dogs or service animals. They were blind, they were vision impaired, and those dogs were part of the Masonic Lodge. They actually got their own collars and their own aprons. So, service animals not just can enter the lodge, but can enter the buildings themselves, right, based on the municipal codes and requirements. No, we are not criminals. I mean, I would rather spend a life in jail because that way I can still try to make the world a better place for at least the people around me. Maybe I could start a library, or who knows, I could try to learn things and educate myself. So long as there's life, there is hope. If it was a legitimate support animal as provided by a doctor and a prescription, then talk to the lodge. That's a good point as well, Catholicism, though I'm not one who can speak to repentance from a theological perspective. It just seems to me a thing lacking mercy. Maybe as an official position, Catholicism, but my suspicion is many Catholics have many different views on these subjects. The extent to which any one Catholic follows as dogma the proclamations of the Church, I'm not necessarily sure, but we'll see. I can't super chat you. That's not how it works. You super chat me. I think you can, like, I've seen people with rabbits on leashes. I don't know how much the rabbits like the leashes, but well, for Freemasonry, um, ancient Rome is an important part of stonemasonry, right? One of the cool things about stonemasonry is its historical roots in ancient Rome, in Egypt, in Greece, in ancient Egypt. Well, I mean, I guess everybody gets their position on the those questions, right? But the point is, I can't speak to what every Catholic thinks about it. Do you aspire? I am the worshipful master of my lodge. I'm the worshipful master of Border Cities Lodge number 554, and grateful to be a member of it. It's a lot of work. Being a worshipful master should not be taken for the faint of heart, but I'm grateful. I think providing medical services, especially in the States where it can be very expensive, is always incredibly kind. No, that's not how it works. Being a worship master is a position of service, not of being served. People need to remember that. Well, thank you. I appreciate you enjoying my content. If you want to support it, make sure to hit the like button and consider a super chat. Just $2, and you'll hear the comment coming at you from the text to speech app. There are many places with Masonic hospitals. Masonic Medical Research Institute out of New York is also really, really cool. I mean, Freemasonry has nothing to do with the Grand Wizard or the KKK. They are separate organizations. I would suggest the KKK are completely opposed to Freemasonry and what Freemasonry stands for. Um, I've been watching it off and on the last few days. There's been a lot of incredible things happening with the Artemis 2, including naming the moon crater after the commander's wife. I thought was incredibly cool. Um, Seeing the far side of the moon. It's wonderful to see humanity returning. I think what we've seen in the last week with the Artemis 2 mission is an incredible bright spot in what is a very challenging time, and I'm grateful to be alive to see it. Well, that's for human beings. There's bad mixed in with the good, or good mixed in with the bad, depending how you want to define it. But I think groups and organizations, what they can do, and the beautiful thing about a group is it's capable of polishing off the bad and promoting more of the good. Good like sacrifice, good like teamwork, good like kindness, good like effort, good like charity, right? I think groups bring out the best in people more so than individuals. Well, this channel's name's growing. It should have been named that. Yes, I should have put that request in. You know what? No, I'll accept. I'll accept Carol. I think is a pretty beautiful moment. Well, excluded. I mean, excluded would be the term. It'd be suspended. Not from my lodge, no, but there have been Masons who've committed crimes, and when they do, they are suspended and removed from the craft, as it should be. Right? I've known of some. Well, people stir the pot sometimes because they just think it's fun, and sometimes because they legitimately want to harm Freemasonry, and sometimes because they think Freemasonry is legitimately bad. Mr. Banks, I wouldn't say that, but I would say people and the way they interpret Freemasonry is, or the way they interpret Albert Pike is SHIT. That's for sure. So I wouldn't go that far, but I think the way people interpret Albert Pike is the problem. I would reconsider that. I think, as a general rule, if the Austrian painter didn't like something, that's a sign that you should probably like it, because obviously that guy was a monster. It's hard to have discernment. It just takes time and effort and acceptance of the fact you're going to get things wrong a lot. So, whoa, we're not going to knock anybody's religious faith, including Baptists. That's not cool. So you need to calm down with that. Albert Pike? I mean, I don't know what that means. He wasn't doing anything illegal, to my knowledge. He just wrote a book that people don't understand. It did not need to be said, Tuger. That's one of those things. It's neither kind nor is it true. I mean, I don't, that's a matter of opinion, and opinion is not true or false. It's just an opinion. So we're going to give this another few minutes, then we'll be leaving. But thank you everybody for being here. Please, once again, if you have not done so yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if they are, they're welcome here. 14 words. You need to reconsider your life. All right, guys, we're going to end this stream. Thank you all for being here. I'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know what time because I'm going to be traveling, but as soon as I am able to jump on stream, I will for sure. Well, I mean, but an opinion can't have receipts. So, like, Simple Man is the greatest song of all time, is my opinion. There's no receipt that could prove that, right? That's the point. Well, we're going to end it because I got to get myself to sleep. It's not garbage. It's important parts of what his life was. It's unfortunate that she destroyed it. It should have been returned to the Masonic Lodge. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have an excellent, excellent night.